Okay, it is recording. Ooh. What do we do for the YouTube people? I uh I got nothing.
Oh, he missed. They missed having Dirk's story about brain juice.
No, you start.
It could have been just for them.
Brain juice gushing. Not blood, brain juice.
Now they can have that to wonder about.
Uh, I don't even know anymore. I guess that's good for the YouTube listeners. Oh god. All right then. Here we go. Oh, and then right before I say something, Dirk resubs for 52 months. Hey, that's a full year. Wait,
Oh,
Um,
a week of years.
a week of year,
A month of weeks.
year of weeks. Thanks, buddy. All right,
You're
here we go
welcome.
again. Ow, jam! But not this week. This week it is not my jam. And I don't know why exactly. Because it should be. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Hello, I'm Chewy. I am Chewy. And I. Oh no. Dorks, I'm
Hi,
sneezing.
Chewy.
Introduce yourselves.
hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler tangent master of the group, and I am actually not about to sneeze.
I'm Mike, and I guess I never bothered figuring out my um, podcast title, personality, whatever, outside of magic stuff. So I need to get on that as we continue to do more of these non-magic shows.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And hopefully I don't sound too gravelly for everyone.
Better gravelly than grovelly.
I was just thinking that.
Why would both of you be thinking that?
Because
What?
gravelly and grovelly just sounds so much alike. It
uh,
converge so easily.
What
it's
in the
almost
blue
like we've
hell is
been
going on?
it's almost like we've been talking to each other at least once a week for
For years.
ever.
It turns out I didn't sneeze, and I apologize for lying to everybody. It was
You
close
should
though.
be.
It was right there. So this week's topic comes from Mycroft in the Discord. When I was like, "Oh God, it's Wednesday, and we don't have a topic, and none of the stuff that I've got sitting on the list sounds good." Like for a last minute thing, what do we do? And Mycroft said, and I quote, any video games that you want to like, that on paper should be the perfect game for you, but somehow you just don't gel with it. Like, nothing offensive, nothing bad about it, nothing you dislike, just not enough to like. Guild Wars 2 is like that for me. Or expand to other things, TV shows, music, books, etc. And I was like, oh, that, I think we could get our teeth into that.
Hmm.
And I pitched it to the dorks, and eventually everyone was like, yep. So here we are. Thank you, Mycroft.
Although you said Mycroft's idea was specifically for video games.
Well, I mean, his original post, yeah. But then he goes,
Yeah.
expand
Okay.
it to whatever else, which makes it easier.
Right.
Since Mike doesn't play video games or watch TV shows or read books.
Mike plays a video game.
Arena's not a video game.
I was
Yeah,
thinking of
barely
Diablo.
count. Oh,
I was thinking
I haven't fired that up in a long time either.
somebody. I guess Diablo 4 just came out with an expansion, and somebody was saying like they feel like it plays 1,000 times better now. But I have not played it, so I can't speak to it.
That often happens with big updates. They usually find ways to do a bunch of quality of life improvements.
That's better than getting worse. But
Yeah,
I'm
the big patch that Hades 2 just did a few weeks ago is it added like one specific thing and did a bunch of bug fixing and whatnot, but also like tweaked the way that some of the boons for Ares work, and Ares is like way better now.
Oh, good.
Like, why you do this right when I'm done with the game? By the way, I'm done with the game. I finally did. They added in the new stuff, and I did all of that before I finished the thing, like the one thing that I had left to do, which was just a relationship. Just finish giving one character gifts and talking to him. And apparently it was a problem because they mentioned it in the patch notes. They're like, this character will be much less resistant to accepting, furthering the relationship or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, it's not just me.
Isn't that always nice though when you're like, oh shoot, it's not just me, my computer, my skill set, whatever.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know why
Yeah,
I haven't had the
why
option.
is this so difficult? It's like, oh, sorry, this such and such was so difficult, we patched it.
Yeah. I was like, I can't understand why I've gotten the little icon showing that, you know, the relationship is done with literally everyone else, and this fool is not even close to being done. And I'm like, what? Anyway, but I finally did that, and then did another run after that just to make sure, and I'm done now. I did all the things. I did the super hard stuff. I did the random hard stuff. I get the different new random hard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yay, I can finally move on from Hades 2 after hang on. No, not last played. Hours played 182.3.
That is
Wow.
not a small number.
Yeah, it finally passed Hades 1 at 172.4. And I haven't done everything in Hades 2 or Hades 1. There's the final like high heat run gift thing that I was like, you know what? That's past my skill ceiling. I'm just not gonna.
Game no longer a game.
Yeah, when you get to that point, like it's for me, for my skill ceiling with Hades 1, it is no longer a thing that is worth doing because it was just slamming my head into the wall over and over.
Yep. I've been there before.
And Hades 2, I managed to do it on like my third try or something. Like, oh, cool. All right then. But anyway, sorry, that's not what we're talking about. Yes, we're talking about things that on paper should be our jam, but just aren't. So, if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go first to try to set the way out I think we should do this.
Okay, go right ahead.
So,
Then everybody else will be wrong.
yeah, I'm sure that you guys will not follow this at all. Dark, you paying attention?
I am.
So,
Squirrel.
speaking of Hades, like the games that I'm playing right now. No, that's hours played. Hang on, scroll. The games that I'm playing right now are almost all roguelikes. Like there's Final Fantasy VI, that's not a roguelike. But there's Absalom, that's a beat 'em up roguelike. Hades 2, it's a dungeon crawling roguelike. Vampire Survivors is its own brand new genre roguelike. Balatro is a deck building roguelike that has spawned its own subgenre of Balatro likes.
Yeah.
Dogpile is a Balatro like that is where you pile dogs. Anyway,
I feel like that needs no further explanation.
yeah, no, you're piling dogs, and it's called Dogpile. Vampire Crawlers is a roguelike deck builder. Heroes of Magic and Cards is a roguelike deck builder that's sort of like Slay the Spire, except with playing cards. And Racoin is a coin pusher Balatro like roguelike. And like those are my last, other than poking around in Baldur's Gate 3 and Mortal Kombat 9. Those are like the last however many games those are that I've played over the last month. So most of those are roguelikes. I love a roguelike. You know what else I love? Turn-based combat. Like, I grew up with Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy 1 on the NES. Like, I love me some turn-based combat. The turn-based Final Fantasies, I don't want to say are my favorite, because around the time it stopped being turn-based is the ones I haven't played yet. But, you know, Slay the Spire, those games, those are turn-based. Like, I love turn-based combat. Oh, I mean, Baldur's Gate, XCOM, freaking that sort of thing. Love it. Totally my jam. You know what else I love, you guys? Lovecraft.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of the cosmic horror has been a thing that has fascinated me since I first found out about it all those years ago when Scott discovered H.P. Lovecraft. Because, you know, Scott and I have been friends for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And, like, we were talking on the phone one night, and he goes, I'm just going to read you this story. And he read me Dagon by H.P. Lovecraft. Now,
Oh, that's good.
I don't know if you guys remember, or you listeners might not even know this, but Scott has a very deep and very soft-spoken voice. Like, the thing that I have said most to Scott in the, 40 years that we've known each other is, what was that? Like, one more time? So, he's got a very deep voice. And he can go really monotone when he needs to. And, yeah, he read me Dagon over the phone. And then, just a quick spoiler, it ends with the dude being, as all of the Lovecraft short stories do, it ends with the narrator character jumping out a window because weird fishmen are coming to get him, or something like that. And just as Scott finished the story, outside my window, I heard and I was like, what? So I think that bizarre coincidence just really cemented how much I appreciate it. So, yeah, the idea of the cosmic horror, things older than us that don't care about us, that look at us like we look at ants. Like, yeah. That's a bummer, but it's fascinating. Because, in the wider universe, this is going to bum a lot of people out, but it's true. We don't matter. Hey! We're just a little rock orbiting around a normal little star, just like all of those others out there. Does not matter. Which is kind of freeing in a way. But let's not get into philosophy here.
It can cut both ways. It can be like, hey, because, we're so infinitesimally small, the universe doesn't care about, the little things you have going on in your life, the small setbacks. And it can also go to the, oh my God, nothing is ever going to matter ever. Why am I even doing this? Why are we even doing this? So, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Hopefully more of the former than the latter.
Yeah, to be clear, the things that we do matter to each other.
Yes.
Like, don't go down that spiral, because if nothing else, we love you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, like, to the wider universe as a whole, no. And that's what the cosmic horror thing of, Lovecraft's writing is all about. So, I really love Lovecraftian horror. I really love turn-based combat. And I really love roguelike video games. So, I'll give you a brief moment, listeners, to see if you can figure out where I'm going with this. I'm not going to play the Jeopardy theme because, copyright. But still, just okay.
It is totally playing in my head. I really don't know where this is going, but I also don't play a ton of video games myself, so...
Sorry, I just had to make Mike giggle there, because that's one of Mike's giggle triggers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is about the video game Darkest Dungeon by Red Hook Studios.
Oh, they call themselves Red Hook Studios, even.
Is that a thing?
I assume it's a reference to the short story The Horror at Red Hook.
Oh, I don't know that one. 27 Lovecraft short story blending detective fiction with cosmic horror. Oh. Wait, Detective Thomas Malone. Okay, I might have actually read this because that name sounds really familiar.
Okay.
Although Thomas Malone is kind of like a extremely generic noir detective name, isn't it?
Yeah. Generic New York Irishman, yeah.
Anyway. So yeah. Darkest Dungeon, I've got, what does it say? 2.6 hours in this game. This is a game that if you get serious about it, takes something like 60 or more to get through. Because it's meant to just, keep playing, keep doing runs, just like all these other roguelikes. And it's hard. Let's read the description here on Steam. Okay, let's read the short one at the top. Darkest Dungeon is a challenging gothic roguelike turn-based RPG about the psychological stresses of adventuring. Stop playing the damn video. Thank you. Recruit, train, and lead a team of flawed heroes against unimaginable horrors, stress, disease, and the ever-encroaching dark. Can you keep your heroes together when all hope is lost? And you've got 4 party slots, I think. I'm pretty sure it's 4. Well, I can just scroll down and look. Yeah, you've got 4 party slots and several different classes that each have several different skills that you can... I think you can swap between skills on each class, Like any class might have X number of abilities available, but you can only, pick 4 or something. Yeah. I think that's right. Again, I've only got 2.6 hours in it, and the last time I played it was I don't even know. Library. Darkest Dungeon, last played December 15th, 2018. Wow, really?
You're talking about almost a decade ago, man.
I thought I had given it another... this is 2 attempts of playing Darkest Dungeon. I played it once for... It was a stream, or it might have been a charity stream, like way back. And then at some point later, I tried to do it again. Because it came out in 2016. And I didn't even get to 3 hours. I think it was a charity... Or the first roguelikes for charity stream, maybe? I can't remember.
That makes sense.
But, everyone was all hyped about it. Like, oh, yeah, it's really good. Because it's got a job system, which, is, my favorite thing. That's the thing I could have added to that first list. It's got a bunch of interconnected systems. Like, you've got to have... Okay, you've got to equip the stuff you're going to take. So you assemble your party of 4 characters. You get them kitted out with whatever. Then you've got to figure out your torches and provisions and whatnot you're going to take with you to go into, like, on a mission in a dungeon to, fight things and loot and whatever. And there's traps, and you've got to light the torches because darkness causes your stress to go up, and the stress is like you've got HP and a stress meter, and whenever your stress maxes out, your character rolls a dice essentially and gets some sort of affliction, which gives them a quirk or a trait of some sort, like trying to think of one that I've actually seen in the game. Oh, like you have to, when you see treasure, you have to loot it right then. That sort of thing. Or, oh wait, there's one here playing in a mini GIF. Irrational. Oh, it doesn't say what that does. Okay, never mind. But each of these weird, quirks or traits or whatever you get affects gameplay for that character. And then back in home base, there are ways to alleviate stress, and each character has a way that they chill out. And so, some like to go to the brothel, some like to go to the church, some probably do both.
Are they right next door to each other?
So, they are actually. Some go to the tavern and drink their worries away, that sort of thing. But each of those only has a certain number of slots to hold people, so you're constantly, juggling systems. And I love the interconnected systems in games. And I really, the more I'm talking about it, the more I think that if I were to give this a shot now, 8 years later, I would probably like it more.
Probably, but
but the art style is really striking. It's hand drawn, very dark, very heavy outlines on things, and yeah, it really, again, on paper, sounds like something that I should absolutely love, and yet I've tried twice now and just couldn't get into the damn thing, and I don't know why. It makes no sense to me. Also hiccups.
Also the hiccups. Okay. So do you want to try to dissect this, or should we to try to figure out what it is that you just can't get into it, or should we keep rolling with other people's thoughts? I
think it could be that at the time that I really should reinstall this and try it again. I wonder how it plays on Steam Deck. It is verified. That doesn't actually mean anything. By the way, if any of you have a Steam Deck, don't go by the Steam compatibility thing. That's mostly nonsense. Go to ProtonDB, where they actually will tell you more specifically. Like, they've got a platinum, gold, silver system, and then you can go in and it'll explain, oh, well, this works perfectly if you switch to, this setting and play it on the experimental whatever. Then it's perfect. Otherwise, it crashes. Oh, okay, good to know. That sort of thing. That's how I got XCOM Enemy. The first one. The first of the new ones. Enemy Within, and then Enemy Unknown was the expansion. Yeah, there we go. No, Enemy Unknown, and then Enemy Within was the expansion. There we go. But it would not work straight out of the box. I had to go in and tweak stuff, so just a thing for Steam Deck owners. But yeah, anyway, I think at the time that I tried to play this, I was not so well versed in this type of game and how it worked, and because you don't have a party that you care. This isn't a Final Fantasy game. you need to expand your barracks and get like an army of different, have multiples of each class, because they're gonna die. Like, do not get attached. And I think at the time that was not it. And it's also really depressing. Which, given this came out in 2016, which is when I first lost all faith in humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 2020, I lost even further amounts of faith in humanity that I didn't even know I still had. So I think it would have been a bad idea for me to try it again after that. And I think at the time it being so depressing was just not in the cards for my brain.
Yeah, I can understand how that could be difficult if
Yeah.
part of the whole thing is watching your characters and trying to guide your characters through difficulties like that.
Sure. I mean, there's even some books or some movies that I start to watch them or read them, and I'm like, this is going to a place that I don't want to be right now, so I can't do it.
Yeah.
To say nothing of like a medium where you're actually controlling the characters.
So, yeah, I think it was primarily, like I said, my inexperience with this type of game, and I really don't like, didn't like, probably still don't, especially like games where your party, like the players you're playing as are expendable, and you need to get new ones.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
could definitely see that too.
And I think all of that was just But yeah, if you played or loved Darkest Dungeon, let me know why I should play. I just got done listening to I think the reason this one came to me so easily because I was listening to a podcast about it, and they kept talking at how great it was, how great. Oh, this is so great, and I was like, I don't remember any of that.
Because you didn't make it that far.
Doing a dungeon and surviving and being like, man, that was a bummer. Like, but I'm now like, I don't want to say a connoisseur of roguelikes, but I have a lot more experience with the different flavors of roguelike, and I think it might be time to try Darkest Dungeon again.
Well, there you go.
Did I buy the sequel? I did not, because I didn't like the first one. So yeah, there you go. That's my first example, because all of its individual elements I'm so into, but you put them all together and I go, no, not really for me, thanks.
So I guess I'll go next.
Go ahead.
So I have a couple different entries in a couple different mediums, but I'm gonna go and piggyback off of Chewy's. Mine is about a game, although, and this may sound a little bit like cheating. It's more of like a subsection of games, but every time I've tried one of these, I am so excited for it. I'm like, this time I'll love this. And inevitably, like within 5 hours, and trust me, we're talking about longer games, I'm just like, I suck, I can't do this, blah, blah, blah. So kind of like what Chewy said, what do I like? I like Final Fantasy. Love Final Fantasy. I love turn-based games because it gives me time to figure things out. I never liked slaps. I only played slaps a little bit in high school, a little bit in college. My brain does not recognize what the card is quickly enough for me to go, do I put my hand down or not? And then my hand always gets slapped by somebody else.
What in the hell are you talking about?
Slaps, like the card game.
Yeah, it's a reflex-based
Yeah.
card game with a deck of conventional cards.
Yeah, you turn over the top card, and if you want it, you like slam down on it. But if somebody else beats you to it, anyway, point being
Okay.
that like I like games where I have time to figure things out. I still like action games, platformers, but I love RPGs. I love turn-based games. I love games with good character development. I love SquareSoft. I know the world says I should love Final Fantasy Tactics, and I can't do it. I can't do it.
Ah.
Wow, really?
Yeah, and I know everybody out there is like, "Boo this man!" They just did the anniversary collection, right? The Evilise Chronicles. And I'm going to expand this a little bit to these sort of tactical games because I have slammed my head against Ogre Battle so many times. I rented it more than once. I bought it for the Wii. And Carrie's like, "This looks interesting." And I'm like, "This is how it works." And she's like, "Yeah, this sounds like a you game and not a me game." And after like 3 hours, I'm like, "It's not a me game either." Um, it is fascinating how you have these games where you set up units either in a either individually or in like squads, and then you move them around a map and try to fight other things. But generally, one of the common things with this is you either select the action or the action is chosen for you based off of how you built the character. Again, I love building characters. I love selecting equipment and skill trees. I'm like, oh my god, I can spend all the time on the skill trees. And when it comes to the actual implementation for these things, I can't I can't ever win. I can't ever just kind of figure this out. So I don't know. I love the characters. I love the setting, but I'm focusing on Final Fantasy Tactics, which I have tried more than once, and I get along okay until like the first mission where there's a black mage in the opposing party, and then I just lose like hard.
I
Ogre Battle, which
That is a place, weirdly enough, where a lot of people have been like, nope, screw this game. And that's not even like
well,
one of the major roadblocks, but it's the
oh
first like spike. And if you're
yeah.
not used to the gameplay, it is definitely a spike.
I more than once I've been like, okay, I'm gonna restart the game. I've got this, and I'll grind, and I'm like, I know how this works. And I go in and like, and it's just like I don't my strategy just whatever reason like blah. Ogre Battle, I'm like I'm getting along okay, but then I again I hit a roadblock where all of a sudden every enemy unit is faster than me and stronger than me and has better AI, and I die. Um, Ogre Battle 64, by the way, which is the sequel for the N64, in case you can tell from the title, is fascinating. It's still extremely difficult, but it's even more punishing because the way that works is you have a revolutionary army and you go around trying to liberate things. But if you put the really strong characters in your squads, or like the ogres or demons or whatever, it turns out the people in your country don't like you anymore. They're like, "Are we the baddies?" And you know and your reputation goes down and you can't get the good endings. But I've never even come close to the endings except for seeing other people do them on YouTube because I want to like tactical games. I really feel like they could be my thing, and I can't do it. And I keep hurting myself. I keep hurting myself with this over and over again. One of the first mobile games I ever played and really thoroughly enjoyed was Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. This came out after Record Keeper, and it was amazing. And unfortunately, they have shut it down. But they did create a spin-off called Final Fantasy Brave Exvius War of the Visions, and it's a tactics game. And I was like, this seems pretty good. And I got into it, and I'm like, the curse rears its head again. So that's my entry. Is my first entry is tactics games, but I'm gonna if you want me to focus because I don't I'm no we don't really want to get everybody's like, well, I don't like this genre or whatever. It's really got to start with Final Fantasy Tactics because it was my entry, and because it and Ogre Battle are the ones that I have actually tried on multiple occasions at different levels of my life. to be like, certainly I can handle this now, and the game is like, nope. Why don't you go play some Mario, scrub? And I'm like, yes, sir.
I'm really
They
tempted to be like, I should come over and like hang out while you give this another shot at some point.
it would be a one shot for sure, and you probably get some good material out of it.
No, I mean
But
to
as
try
far as
to see what it is that you're doing
to,
that the game
yeah,
clearly doesn't want you to do.
Well, there's your problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because there's definitely a learning curve on tactics games. Like Final Fantasy Tactics was my first one too, and I don't even think I played another one until the new XCOM Enemy Unknown on the 360. You know, so much later. Never played Ogre Battle or any
but
of
as
those, although
far
I have heard they are much more brutal.
they are super brutal, but worth it if I think if you can enjoy it. But they're not for the faint of heart. Unlike Chewy, where I think Chewy took away the message of maybe I'll give this another shot. I think I wouldn't mind trying it again, but I've tried it so many times that I don't know that I'm holding out hope on this one. But anyway, so what's everybody else got?
Yeah, who's next?
I'll go with mine. So I'm going to go with not a game, but with something that I don't know. It's just weird what it is and where everything has gone in relation to it. So I was really excited to hear when Star Trek. So we grew up when there was the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager were the ones on TV, and when one ended, another one would kind of pick up the story and the torch and keep everything going. Enterprise came out and was like solo holding the torch for a while, and there was a lot of hate for Enterprise. But I pushed through and I watched all of Enterprise, and though there were some really janky parts to it, for the most part, I kind of liked it. Um, and then the new Star Trek series started coming out. Discovery, if I'm not mistaken, was the first one to come out.
That sounds right. To
Series.
someone who hasn't watched any.
I'm gonna double check. So, Next Generation, Voyager, Enterprise, Discovery was the next one to come out. Picard kind of came in. I thought Picard had kind of relaunched and everything, but no, Discovery went first. I will say of the series, the recent stuff, Lower Decks was amazing. I loved Lower Decks.
I heard that it was really good. It was an animated comedy, right?
Yes, it's like Rick and Morty, but in the Star Trek universe. So it is incredibly funny, and that was one of the ones that I actually watched with Chelsea, and she doesn't really watch that stuff. So, but she enjoyed it. Picard, I liked but it's you kind of have to have the background, the backstory to kind of understand what's going on in Picard. Like if you didn't watch any of the Next Generation, Picard is not your starting point. Like don't even try. Um, but Discovery was the first of the new, and I watched. I want to say it was the first season of Discovery, and I thought it wasn't bad, but there were just parts. There was just a point where I was like, okay, there's other stuff I want to watch, and I'll just come back to it, and I never came back to it. So they've done 5 seasons, and I just haven't gone back. And I say this
been
because
5 seasons. Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
but in one of the seasons, they explain something that was a pivotal event. And this pivotal event is what sets up um, Star Trek Academy or Starfleet Academy. And that is the
Huh.
burn. And the
Uh-oh,
burn,
sick, the burn.
it's
Boo.
was just like, this is such a janky thing. I don't understand what in the world is going on with this and what and it's so I looked up like what the burn was and blah blah blah. And it's just this big MacGuffin that was used sort of to reset the universe.
They did it again.
Yeah. I mean that's essentially what the burn is okay, we have the Federation, they're all big and bad, and then there's the Klingons, you have all these stuff. What can we do to kind of stir the pot and make it so, everyone, we're kind of going back to the days of the original. Um, and so the burn was kind of what this was. Now this is my personal take. I don't know if there's any sort of backing for this, but the burn allows them to go and say, okay, well, here's all these groups. Let's do what the Federation's original mission was and go ahead and contact these civilizations and set up dialogue and do all this stuff. It's kind of what it feels like to me, but it's not like new civilizations, it's the old ones, like the Beta Zeds. Like the Beta Zeds fell out of the Federation because of the burn. And so one of the episodes had to do with we're inviting you guys back in and we're gonna do better this time and all of this and I'm just yeah it's just super janky to me in how it worked and like I say it was just this MacGuffin that was introduced in Discovery that sets the stage for the later series to kind of roll with, and it feels like to me like was it the in the Marvel and DC universes when they Crisis at Infinite Earth, and they just sort of said, okay, well, we've got too many lines going on. Let's just do something that just says, okay, everything from here didn't happen. Everything here is now what happens.
Lore reset.
That's kind of what this feels like is we just want to kind of reset things to its exploration. It's we're kind of rebuilding and that's I I gave an honest effort to try and like Starfleet Academy, and I don't know. It I got into a couple episodes in it and just yeah. Same thing with Discovery. I started watching a couple. I got like through the first season, and it was like I just don't really want to. Just I'm done. I'm good. Strange New Worlds feels very old school Star Trek. It's the one on of the new stuff that I potentially will come back to and watch. Should I ever renew my Paramount Plus subscription again? Uh, Hopefully, if the person in charge is not the current person in charge, but it's like I said that's the one that just I don't. It's just weird to me how it is, and I don't know. There's just so much weird stuff going on that it's not like you're trying to clean sweep the I don't know the best way to describe it. It's like I said. There's just it's you just can't put my finger on specifically what it is, other than they're trying to pull in a lot of stuff from what you know from the lore, but they're going off in weird directions with it
Hmm.
that just doesn't make sense. Oh, one of the things that's also fun is Discovery. They added, I think they were trying to redo the Klingons so they actually are scary and not like a person with weird ridges, painted onto their forehead, and everyone hated the new Klingons.
They redesigned the Klingons again.
Oh, you should look and see what the Klingons look like in Discovery.
Okay.
They definitely are very alien. Um, but I think there was a lot of pushback with that too, because again,
Whoa, what?
yeah,
Why are they blue?
well, one of them is white. He's the albino, and the
Oh.
rest of them are just, yeah. It's like I said, they tried to redo the Klingons so that they were scarier and everything. But the problem is that now says, okay, well, what about Worf? What about all the other Klingons? How exactly do you rectify that? You're like, oh, well, they're supposed to look like this, but we decided to not. Yeah, it's just,
Oh, Okay, I've seen pictures of these aliens, but I had no idea they were Klingons. What the heck?
yeah, they're supposed to be, and I think they've gone and tried to redo it so that way these were an offshoot of Klingons for lore sake and everything. But again, why are we reinventing the wheel when we already reinvented it twice? So I don't know.
I remember the days when this is going to make me sound old, but it's not about you kids, it's about you nerds. Like
Hmm.
lore, I'm using air quotes so hard right now that I'm going to break something. Like, you remember that episode of Next Generation? No, sorry, that episode of Deep Space Nine, where some of them ended up going back and showing up in an episode of the original series.
Yes,
And
the
they're
Trouble Tribbles episode.
yeah, and there were Klingons there, and they asked Worf about it, and Worf was just like, "We do not talk about them." Like, that was the entire explanation. They didn't
Hmm.
need a big. Oh well, see, this is all canon, and it's just a freaking TV show. But for some reason, stuff can't just exist by itself anymore. Everything has to be interconnected and everything has to be explained because the lore nerds on YouTube demand it. And that's just the thing that annoys me about modern like fandom. It's like, just watch the show. That was not
I
directed
think
at
there
you.
has
That was
I
Well,
the
I think
greater
that
nerds
there
in
has
general.
been a standard where we have seen an uptick in some quality in television shows, and because of that, people expect these sprawling, epic, shows where everything is entirely internally consistent. And don't get me wrong, I love internally consistent as a story writer, but I think you're right. I think old episodes of like I don't know. I keep coming back to westerns for some reason, but like the Lone Ranger, they don't have to make perfect sense. It was the show. But I think part of that is because we have had shows where they've gone out of their way to establish these things that now all of a sudden they're all got to be like the Odyssey.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you there, Dirk. It's just like, and that isn't even really at nerds. That's at showrunners.
well,
Like,
I can see.
they have to justify everything.
Well, the thing for me is I don't see a problem with saying, taking this and like with the Klingons is okay. We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to make the forehead bigger and do something of that sort, but still keep it grounded in what's going on. To say, well, we've changed. We're doing this, and that's fine. I'm cool with that. I do feel like the the new type is like, why have we gone in a completely different direction where no, we don't even recognize who they are? But again, that's not even the main problem. It's just I don't know. I just don't really have an interest in watching any of the new Star Trek stuff.
Is it is part of it the fact that there is so much stuff? It's kind of almost like the modern Star Wars issue where in the old days, you had the Star Wars trilogy and you had Star Trek, and then you got New Generation. But here we are 30 years later, and all of a sudden we have a bajillion movies for both, several TV shows for both, and at a certain point, you have
Saturated.
so much, yeah.
Um, I
Could
think
that be
that
part of
they
it?
were releasing the series such that they weren't saturating the market all at once, because like Picard was just it came out on Paramount Plus. I don't even think it even made. It says CBS All Access. I don't think it was ever on TV. I think it was purely streaming.
Yeah, it wasn't on TV.
There's overlap between Strange New Worlds and Discovery, and there's overlap between Strange New Worlds and Starfleet Academy, but Discovery never overlapped with Academy. So it's, yeah, there were two of them running at one time at some point, but that's no different from old school. I just don't know, and I'll just leave it up to as a mystery. But I don't know if it's completely a okay. I just don't. This feels creepy. I don't really feel like that. It's just there was just something weird about how they started the series ran. I don't know. You guys would have to watch some of them to kind of give me a like how did you feel about it sort of thing.
And see, I'm not a Star Trek fan, so
Yeah, I haven't kept up with anything past the like the first two seasons of Enterprise.
Hmm.
I have no idea about the recent
I've
stuff.
I've seen two of the movies with Chris Pine,
Okay,
the
yeah, I
first
saw
two.
movies.
Oh yeah, I never saw the third Star Trek movie either. Huh.
It wasn't bad.
I think that's why I didn't see it, because that's the ringing endorsement that everyone gave. It wasn't bad.
I thought it was better than Into Darkness. Into Darkness, I thought was just we're trying to shoehorn this thing in, and we're gonna do it. I don't know.
I remember you had no
Too much
patience for it.
fan service.
I think that yeah, too much fan service. It was um, we're like I said, we're trying to shoehorn in a character who didn't who. Why couldn't you just gone with an original character?
Was it kind of like Doomsday in the Batman versus Superman, where they're like, we could introduce this character in 20 years, like what Marvel did, or it could be in the movie before Justice League is Doomsday.
Yeah.
All right then,
Gotta
Mike, what you got?
All right, so the thing that immediately came to mind when I was thinking about good examples for me. All right, so I'll just go instead of trying to build up the mystery first. I'll just go ahead with it. Uh, real-time strategy games.
Yep.
There's just something about them that just never got me, even though you'd think that everything together they'd be really compelling. I mean, tons of other people find them compelling. Like I owned copies of multiple Warcraft games and Age of Empires games, and I never I never bought a full Command and Conquer game, but I did have a few demos that I would play now and again. But yeah, I never got into StarCraft. And this is another thing. Chewy brought up this idea. I wonder if I would react differently to it if I started playing now. But okay, so video games with tons of emergent gameplay, lots of stuff to do, lots of freedom to do what you want, skill trees, unit building, run around, smash armies against each other, explore maps, collect stuff. But just something about it never got to me. And when I stop and think about it, I think it was because the primary gameplay loop that you're supposed to follow to advance in the game and get good at it was not something that interested me. You know, I found building and managing the town in Warcraft 1 very frustrating. Partly because I didn't understand the best way to manage how you had to also build roads to connect the buildings. That was annoying.
Duh,
I
Mike.
would
They can't just
get
walk on the grass.
yeah.
What do you think this is, Catan?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't like having to bother like always always building something, always having to keep something cooking. You know, I'd be out here managing my peasants, you know, going into a mine or going to chop down some trees. I didn't care that my barracks was idle. It's like whatever. And when it came to building up the army, I didn't want to bother having to build like a balanced force of, you know, footmen and cavalry and archers. You know, that's dull. I just want like a team of archers, you know, entire team of archers, you know, an entire team of cavalry people. You know, when I get high enough in the tech tree, I just want to make, you know, griffins or trebuchets or, you know, whatever. I don't care. But the game doesn't reward that. The game rewards actually playing it properly, which, you know, I don't know how many times in Age of Empires where I'd have a little squad of hoplites wandering around the map fighting lions or something, and then I'd get some, you know, the alarm horns that my city was under attack, you know, and then because it was not well defended, I would just lose, which was annoying. And yeah, at the time, it was that like it was that not just resource management, but time and production management that I just couldn't get myself to like or become interested in, which meant that I just wasn't playing the game properly. I remember some of the most fun levels in those games that I did enjoy were ones where you didn't have to do that, where you just had like a squad of people and you had to get them from one end of the map to the other, fighting things along the way. There were some early levels in Warcraft 1 like that I remember specifically, like going through a cave. There was one for the Alliance side and there was one for the Horde side. And they were fun. They were interesting. They were difficult, but I actually enjoyed playing them. But it wasn't the city building, production management, research management, gameplay loop that the game actually wanted you to do. And yeah, you'd think it'd be cool, like all those game features, and even like Age of Empires, like, oh, here's these are the Egyptians, and here's the Greeks, and here's the Sumerians. Like, oh, awesome. But I just didn't get very far in them.
Yeah,
Now,
I think my problem with all that is that it's all happening simultaneously. If it was you do this and then you do this and then you do this, I think I would really dig that game. But that's not a real-time strategy game. That's a tactics game.
Yeah.
That's where I always run into trouble in like StarCraft and StarCraft 2 and all that is like like Mike said, focusing on building up the base, and all of a sudden I'm way behind on the build order because I'm kind of doing something fun or unique, and the opponent is like, no, this is the optimal thing, and all of a sudden I don't have my buildings anymore because they're all destroyed.
Zerg Rush, Johnny!
Yep.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if now, in my current, maturity and state of mind, if I were to go back and play something like Age of Empires or Warcraft 1 or 2 again, if I would be better able to do that, because I would understand, not just because I have I'm not a little kid anymore that just gets lost in his own little world. Now I'm a grown-ass adult who gets lost in his own little world. But I also just understand more about games. It's like, okay, there's just some stuff you have to think about. And also, I mean, because of everything that's happened to me and just in the world and society, my attention is a little more fractured, and I and I just not as prone to stay intensely focused on one thing for a very long time. So it
Are
might be
you
easy. So it might be easier to switch back and forth between tasks than it used to be for me to do.
Huh.
the fact that you might be better at an RTS because your mind is inherently broken is kind of a really cool cyberpunk sort of thing. I don't know where cyberpunk came in, but it's very, very Horcrux. Like you've definitely split your soul at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, I might
Hmm.
react to it differently today if I were to try playing a game like that again. Because these experiences are back in like middle school and high school that I'm talking about, where I was like, I just can't get into this, and eventually I just gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
back around to Chewy.
The only RTS that I've ever managed to get into was Halo Wars, and that was just because of the it was designed with controllers in mind because it was originally only on the 360,
Mm-hmm.
and also I played the campaign. Multiplayer, that sort of thing, is not for me because like while I'm over here dicking around with my tech tree, someone is sending 4,000 weenie units and just destroying me.
Zerg Rush.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that I also just don't like playing competitive multiplayer games all that much. Weirdly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got into Overwatch and what was it?
Here's
Oh,
the
Rocket
storm.
League. I got into Rocket League for a while. But like
Yeah.
that's about it when it comes to playing online against other people. And part of that I think is because of the first time I went online for Halo Wars. Just all of a sudden I was dead. I went, well, that was pointless and stupid.
Nobody's
Clearly.
first game online is a good game. I'm sorry.
It
Unless
wasn't a
you're
game.
very, very
It
lucky.
was all of a sudden my game ended. I was like, oh, look, here's an army come to kill me, and I don't have. I think, not to hijack Mike's topic, but I think the real thing that bothers me about those types of games, at least playing competitively, is they're not games. They're spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you
You are
start
definitely
with this
punished
economy,
if
and then you build this
deviate.
first,
Yeah.
and then when that gets halfway done, you build this, and then that, and then this and this and this, and then
Oh,
this
yeah.
and this and this. And it's a checklist. It's not a game that I'm playing. It's a recipe that I'm following, and that's not what I do gaming for.
Yeah, I would have to really enjoy the game to want to learn the optimal lines like that
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
So it would have to really grab hold of me early enough on in the game where you don't have to do that for me to actually want to learn how to do that to get into and successfully complete the late game. Something else that just came to mind. My brother and I put a lot of time into Warcraft 2 in the level builder mode, which was just
Yeah.
pure sandbox. You just make a map with a bunch of stuff in it and then start it up and start running around and beating up on whatever the other team is that you set up.
Yeah. It's
That
fun.
was fun.
Yeah.
Because also you could kind of skip to the end of the tech tree for everything, so you could see the things that you were like never good enough in the real game to actually get around to building. So you could have ogres and griffins and zeppelins and all kinds of crazy stuff.
That sounds way more fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. So before we go back to me, let's go back to the Discord where we got. Well, actually, on BlueSky, our old buddy CJ, which I think this is CJ Schrader.
Oh, really?
I think when I posted, hey, what do you have that is something that should be your jam but isn't? And CJ said, basically all anime. I should love it, and I never do. And I was like, oh, see, that's just because you haven't watched popular anime that I really like. You should totally watch it, and then you'll be hooked. And he said, yeah, I've definitely heard that before. I was like, yeah, every time.
So, since my list has like 8 things on it, and at the rate we're going, I don't know that we're gonna get to all of them. If one of mine is related, can I piggyback off of that? Just because
yeah, sure, jump right in.
said
Go ahead.
specifically Naruto, and I say that because I've enjoyed anime. I don't think I am a self-proclaimed weeb or anything, but and I definitely was one of those kids that in high school was calling it, and I regret this now, Japanimation, because that was what people told me it was, and then the kids that were like, hey, no, it's anime. I'm like, wow, you take this too seriously, which made me want to call it that other name more. But I have really grown to appreciate the art form. I love there's one called Fairy Tale, which people feel like, oh, it's too like friendship is magic, but yeah, I actually really like it. And I like the magic system. Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood are some of the best storytelling I've ever seen. I like the fact that generally anime, unlike some American shows, anime, it seems like they're better at telling a full story, beginning, middle, end, whereas so many
Long
American
stories.
and long stories, but even the ones that are only like a season long, I still get it. Whereas it felt like for me, all the cartoons I liked growing up, the American ones, were basically just here's a way to sell toys, and then we stop making them when the money runs out and the season just doesn't get picked up. Whereas I felt like more anime has more stories. And so I say Naruto because I've tried to get into it like 3 times and I make it through 2 episodes. And I'm like, what don't I like about this? I like the battles, I like the animation, I like the characters, and yet it does not all come together for me in such a way that I want to keep going. And I don't know why. So I'm just gonna piggyback off of that in that I actually really like anime. I love that Sam's generation is very much into it. Her friends are watching Jujutsu Kaisen, I think is what it's
Yep.
called, like during free time, and I'm like, sure, as long as I love the fact that you guys can do that and be that's socially acceptable. But I can't do Naruto. I get it, ninjas, awesome, way better than pirates, but I don't know. I just can't do it. I've never understood, by the way, why that's even a competition. Because ninjas are ninjas. All the pirates have is a boat to, run away on.
And missing limbs and teeth.
Yes. And scurvy.
And scurvy.
But anyway, so just piggybacking up, because I had on my list, actually number 8 was Naruto. So ha ha ha.
Good Lord. Remember, listeners, when I pitched this idea, I was like, let's do 1 apiece. 2 apiece. Brian has 8.
And I knew I wouldn't get to all of them. Yeesh.
Let's see here. Violet said Warhammer 40K. I love
Put that on my
crunchy
list.
tactical games, but for some reason it holds no appeal to me. And I mean, I don't especially love crunchy tactical games, especially not that you play with physical objects. I just hate board games. But I don't even have any interest in like the world of Warhammer or 40K. Just and everything I've heard about it is like I should really like that. I don't give a damn. Like I think Mike explained it a long time ago to me when he said, the way that magic works is they paint their the was it the orcs?
Oh yeah, the orcs. the orcs have the orcs are like a sentient fungus with latent psychic abilities, and orc tech works because they think it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really. I like that. That's interesting.
Yeah, you said they paint their vehicles red because they believe that red makes them go faster. So it does.
They do,
Like,
yes, exactly.
huh. And that's fascinating, but for some reason, just as a whole, I don't give a damn. And Henry Cavill is like its biggest proponent, and I still don't care. And I would do anything for that man. But huh.
I hear The Witcher was pretty good.
It was.
Yeah, I don't think I finished the last season he was in. Not because of him, just and I definitely didn't watch the most recent season with not Henry Cavill. Who replaced him as
Thor's
What's
brother.
one of the Liams,
Thor's brother?
One of the Liams.
or is that the
You mean one? You mean one of the Helmsworths?
Hemsworths?
Although
Yes, Liam Hemsworth.
technically, both descriptions apply. He is both a Liam and a Hemsworth.
So yes.
Huh.
One of those big handsome brothers, you know the guys.
Yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the Discord. Chifuji and Vi also both said Balatro, which hurt my soul. Like, Vi said I love card-based roguelikes, but for some reason it never really stuck with me. And Chifuji said, seems like it ticks a bunch of boxes for me, and they even did a collaboration with Vampire Survivors, one of my favorite games of all time. But whenever I look at the game, I just have zero desire to try it. And as someone who is currently working his way towards the second rarest achievement in the game, which is beating the hardest difficulty with all however many decks, it hurts a little because I love that game, but I get it. There's no, it's all just math. It's all just numbers. Make a number go bigger. Buy thing, make a number go bigger, and that's the entire game. And so I totally get why that wouldn't do anything for you. Just because it does something for me doesn't mean anything. And it spawned a whole like subgenre of Balatro likes. Like I've got 3 installed right now. I played like 2 others for the Next Fest demos that I played. It's a thing now. And it's brilliant. The design of it is brilliant, but make number go bigger. Let's see. F Wolf said Hollow Knight Silk Song. I love Metroidvanias and platformers that reward skill, but dang if the difficulty wasn't ratcheted up enough to where I didn't want to engage with it when I neared the end. Oh, he actually made it near to the end. Okay, I missed that part. And yeah, that's fair. You know, no one says you got to finish it, or else. No.
There is a certain time fallacy thing where you feel like, okay, I've put in so much time to this, got to see it through.
Yeah, I have a problem with that sometimes. And then Chifuji went with one of the ones that was on my short list of things to talk about. He said the closest thing I can think of is actually no. So, you know what I love, guys?
What?
Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
I like, like I read Lord of the Rings in middle school. Like I love fantasy. It is totally my jam.
Yeah.
I also love when you take something that I really like and give it a more like adult spin. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, this is like fantasy, but for grown-ups. Oh, okay. That's cool. I'm also moderately fond of well-told and produced TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Not hugely, but like The Sopranos and Breaking Bad and all that just completely missed me. when it comes to the, premiere television. Weirdly, a bunch, I guess, crime shows just don't do it for me for some reason. That's weird. I don't like cop shows either, so it's not that. Huh, weird. But I just never got into Game of Thrones.
Even though you like fantasy.
Yeah. Just didn't. Winter is coming. Oh, cool. Oh, and Sean Bean. I like Sean Bean. Hell yeah, Sean Bean's in this. Sweet. No, just don't care.
And he dies because he's Sean Bean.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not even a spoiler.
He turns, he looks at King Joffrey, he says, "For England, Joffrey," and Joffrey says, "No."
I see what you did there, and I liked it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I got to season 3 or 4, and then it's like, I'm going to watch something else. I'll come back to this later. Never did.
I finished it, and I'm glad that I did, because it's the same thing where it's the same reason I'll never, ever, ever walk out of a movie, especially a bad one, because I never want to wonder, well, how would that have ended? So I'm glad that I finished it. But I'm only glad that I finished it, basically, because I finished it.
Oh, and
All the
boobies. I love boobies.
That's right.
Yeah.
The nudity,
And there's-
I've heard about that.
Yeah, and Game of Thrones is just loaded.
Wall to wall. Yeah.
I'm not that big into sexual assault or incest though, so maybe that had something to do with it. But yeah, I think part of why I don't like. Oh, there's a bot in the chat, and I banned the bot in the chat. There we go. I think part of the reason is the same reason, and I've said this before, I apologize, that I never could get into Doctor Who. And it's because Doctor Who fans are insufferable. Or, sorry, Whovians are insufferable. And, like, Game of Thrones is one of those things that just came up all of a sudden. Like, nobody had ever read A Song of Ice and Fire. Shut up. No, you didn't. Not till after you started watching the show. No, you didn't. There's one person who's like, well, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you did. The rest of you, shut up. You'd never heard of it. You'd never heard of it.
Yeah, there was that one guy.
And now everybody is like an expert and has read all of the books, except for the last one, which was never coming out, by the way. And they watch the show, and now, yeah, it's great. And I'm like, I don't care about any of you.
Mm-hmm.
I did read the book. It's more like a collection of short stories. A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which apparently they have turned into a TV show, and critics are like, yes, this is refreshing. This is great. You're getting past all the stuff we didn't love. And I'm like, yeah, the book actually was really, really good, because it's more of a, here's a couple of likable characters in this world, and it's set long before you have to worry about White Walkers or anything like that, and they're just there, just getting by, and it's enjoyable. It's not a pain in the butt or difficult to read. You're not going like, oh no, another rape. Oh no.
Scott Fry in the chat said Tom Baker is the only real doctor. Is that insufferable enough? See, that I can get behind. I used to watch the first 5 minutes of Tom Baker's Doctor Who before I had to go to school in the morning in high school, because Transformers came on Sci-Fi. I would watch Transformers, then I would listen to the bizarre Doctor Who music and watch the first couple minutes, and then Mom would be like, we gotta go, and then I'd go. So I dig it.
I don't know who that is, but
he was one of the doctors from back in the day.
I mean, I get that. I haven't
the one
seen
with
it.
With the scarf.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
The long curly hair and the scarf. Okay.
Oh, Scott Farr also said Knights of the Seven Kingdoms is canceled. Oh well.
Of course, because,
Not,
it
not
was
enough
good,
sexual assault.
I guess. I didn't see it. I don't own an HBO uh, membership, and I don't know that I ever will.
Own an HBO membership. Okay.
So, Game of Thrones was yours.
Yeah, I don't.
Um,
And I still think it's part of it is because I'm a contrary bastard, and it shot from no one had ever heard of it to the most popular thing ever, like overnight, and that annoyed me that suddenly everybody was an expert on this thing that they didn't know about. Shut up. No, you didn't. You went to Wikipedia. Uh, and it was too dark and disturbing and stuff that's just effed up, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I love all of the weird defenders of it. Oh, it's trying to be historically accurate. That's how things were back then. It's fiction. There's zombies. It's not historical. You're an idiot.
Yeah, you
it
can
is, yeah.
put literally anything you want in there. This is what you chose.
Well,
Yeah.
and not to mention, I'm sorry, but saying that everyone was raped back in the day is itself not entirely accurate either. I'm fairly certain not everyone was raped everywhere all the time up until 1932.
Exactly.
So,
So yeah, just
so
all of these things came together to make me
yeah.
never want to watch it. And then the last season sucked, and I personally found great pleasure in that. That this like king of all television crashed and burned at the end, and I took a wicked pleasure in that. So, I'm a bad person.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say I took a wicked dump, but that too.
That yes, no, HBO took the wicked dump. And like it was so bad that it immediately fell out of conversation. It went from being the thing that everyone always talked about to no one talking about Game of Thrones, unless it
Oh,
was when's the last book going
yeah.
to come out, and then new shows.
Oh, it got talked about, but it got talked about under the context of, can you believe that's how they ended it? Just
Yeah,
not, yeah.
so funny to me. Anyway, what what else
So
somebody got?
I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. I was thinking about talking about a TV show next or a book, but I'm gonna say the TV show that's gonna get me in the most trouble. So I mentioned Final Fantasy Tactics because I know everybody loves Final Fantasy Tactics, and how dare I not like it, even if I have reasons not to. So now I'm really gonna get myself canceled. I don't love Firefly. I
Really?
think I think Buffy is a better show if you're just going by Whedon shows, and quite I know these days even just Whedon himself has not done himself any favors, so just being like a fan. But as far as just good TV and liking good stuff despite bad people, it's not necessarily a competition, but I just never got into it. Here's the thing. Ironically, during the odds and ends, I mentioned I don't know how many westerns, more than one. I am not a western fan, and I think part of that is because, in all due respect to my dad, he was, or he still is, he's still with us, but we haven't talked about it in a while. And as a kid, I probably saw every western there was
I
to
was
the
about to
point
say,
that
were you drowning in westerns as a kid?
yeah, and it was never
Yeah.
my thing. And dad and I would get into it. And at one point when they started coming out with the Star Wars prequels, the prequel trilogy, he was like, "Well, it's just cowboys and Indians because they can't do cowboys and Indians anymore because it's not PC." And I'm like, "No." And then I started to think about it, and I'm like, "Well, there's certain similarities, but um, but so and Firefly leans real heavy into the Western thing, which is cool. And as a person, I I I get that. And one of the things about space as the final frontier is the frontier aspect of that, is the whole wild unknown. But I think part of it is that I saw the first episode and I'm like, oh, this is completely and totally a rip off of Outlaw Star. So that
Hmm.
really surprised me. I'm like, this has been done before. And then the characters seemed all right, but I thought that they were all kind of an homage to here's this type of character that I had seen before. So let me be clear, not knocking the show for anybody that likes it. And I think there are people that would go to bat for. I heard they're actually giving it another season in like animated form, and great. I actually really liked the movie Serenity quite a bit as a again single story beginning middle end. I really liked it, but I the show I was never somebody that was like, yeah, when's the next season? I was like, eh. And trust me, being a dork, a nerd, a geek, and saying in a room, if I was to go to a GP or something back in the day when we had like 3,000 people there and yell, I didn't like Firefly, um, you never would have heard from me again.
It's
Because
true.
for
Yeah.
some people, yeah.
And like I didn't see Firefly for oh god, years. I think I watched it with my favorite lesbians for the first time. So that was almost a decade possibly after it was, it released and was done. And
Hmm.
I was like, "Damn, that was good." And then that was the end of it. Like I didn't personally, I'm glad that it only got the one season because had it gotten more, it would have just been run into the ground and finished with a wet fart. Because that's how, Whedon shows sort of do.
More, well, and just TV shows in general,
That
more
too.
is not always more.
Yeah.
So that was mine. That was mine for TV. I also had a sub one for TV. There was a show called The Sinner, and it is a legal
Bill
police
Pullman.
drama sort of. Bill Pullman, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
People really liked it. It had like 4 seasons, and I don't know. Maybe it's been continued. Maybe there's gonna be a fifth. Karen and I watched the first 2 episodes, and then I walked away. And I don't, like I said, I don't generally stop. And if she's gonna watch something, I might have. If she's watching Annie with an E, or Emily in Paris, or any number of like just I don't want to say silly shows, but like drama shows. Maybe I'm just sitting on the couch and I'm playing Arena or something. I'm fine with it. I actually had to leave the room for this show, and I think part of it is honestly there was some case they were doing on that reminded me entirely too much of my job and a case I was going through. So maybe this one's cheating because I can figure out why I didn't like it, but truth is, again, I've watched all sorts of legal shows. I've seen most of Law and Order, and I don't mind the silly crime shows. Like I love Castle to death. There's Nathan Fillion again. Hey, if you got mad at me for Firefly, there he is. I love Nathan Fillion. I like these kinds of shows, and this one, like I had to walk away from the TV, and Carrie finished watching. I think she watched at least the next season, and she really liked it. And I was like, there was something about the tone, there was something about the story they were doing that was actually making me uncomfortable in a way that I didn't even want to continue. And it's been a while since I've seen a show. Maybe I don't love every show, but it's been a while since I saw a show that actually like bothered me. So again, Bill Pullman, great, but so that's my little subcategory for TV.
Hmm.
Uh,
Fascinating.
how about you guys?
Don't all go at once now.
Um,
Actually, do go
I'll
at once. That'll be fascinating.
Oh yeah.
I'll go I'll go ahead and do mine. And so I had the Warhammer 40K on there, Game of Thrones. You guys named off a whole bunch of mine. Witcher was on there. Um, I
The
guess
TV show or
I'll
the video game?
Or the
video game
books.
and the show.
No.
I'll go ahead and go with the one you knew that at some point you guys could imagine I was going to get to, and that is Star Wars. But mine specifically is the High Republic era stuff. So
I
the
don't
High
know what that
Republic,
is.
I would think you'd be all about that. So I'm curious.
so the High Republic takes place, I believe it's 300 years before the trilogy, like, or the Clone Wars and all that. So it takes place a couple hundred years. Yoda's around, like he's alive during the High Republic era. So the reason why it's called the High Republic is the Galactic Republic is expanding during this period, and they're expanding into the Outer Rim and into all these places where the Republic had not been prior. They're meeting new civilizations. They're adding all these groups in, but the whole premise of the High Republic is this is when the Jedi and the Republic during this golden age run into one of the big issues or one of the some problems during that expansion. There is no Sith during this. What they run into is a group of a marauding organization called the Nile, and the whole point of the Nile is that they're essentially like a pirate, like a pseudo organization. Uh, like they don't really control any planets. They just kind of are like pirates who control a section of space. And when the Republic tries to come in, they're like, yeah, no, we don't appreciate you doing that, and we're gonna mess you guys up for even thinking about doing it. So, trying not to go into all the nuances and all the stuff with it. I like the idea of it. The problem for me was, um, ironically, the problem I think is the uh, one of the benefits of it, and that is apparently when the writers and everybody at Disney and behind the Star Wars stuff, they decided they were going to actually plan this out. They took the time to actually plan out the High Republic. So it wasn't a we're going to write a novel. Okay, let's do someone come up with this. Oh well, it totally doesn't work anymore because of this thing. Like it was a bunch of writers. I think there was all the writers who were supposed to write for the series. They all got together and they planned everything out, which is great. I think the downside is because they had planned it out, there was so much stuff that came out with it. And it's not just the novels. They did novels, comic books. There's even Star Wars The Acolyte takes place during the High Republic. So if you're like, I didn't do any of that, go watch The Acolyte that takes place during it. But I think my problem is I think they saturated and they went super diverse with it. I've tried to get into it, and the stuff I've got in is like I kind of like it, but because it's across so much. Like there's adult novels, young adult novels, and comic books, and it's all spread. I think they did it over the past 5 years. So they threw so much stuff out that there really isn't, like, I've tried to go and find something like, here's the chronology of, here's the order you should read stuff in. I can't find it.
Yep.
I can't find anything. Like I've searched for a while. It was like, okay, well, what are all the books for? And they're like, oh, here's all these books. And then when I go, it's like, oh no, there's more stuff. And then I can't find like where it falls into it. So it's like I have to go hunt and find stuff. if I want to learn or become more informed about this. So I think that's been the annoying part for me is I'm interested in doing it, but they've kind of made it a Where's Waldo, except that instead of Where's Waldo, it's you know where where are you going to go to find all these materials and all that, and so it's
Instead
been a
of
bit of a
Where's Waldo, it's Where's all the Where's Waldo books.
yeah, it's kind of what it is. This where's all that, and I'm like, well, the biggest source for me for doing books nowadays is Audible, and even then, Audible doesn't have all the books because again, some of them are young adults, some of them are comic books, and it's and the problem too is that instead of having like one thing that the story is built around, there's a lot of little baddies that are part of it. And there's subterfuge, and there's a lot of, well, if you don't know, then it's really hard to explain how this guy is involved in it. And so there's a lot of little nuanced things that you have to know in order to understand what's going on. But if you didn't read this story, then you don't know what's going on, and that's kind of the problem with it is you have to have been following it during that time to really have an understanding of how like what the story is, what's going on in the story. And I think that's kind of what's put me aside. Like I have a bunch of the books saved in my Audible that I want to get to, but the problem is I don't know if that's all the books.
Hmm.
And so it's just one of those things where there's just so much that I don't know where to start. And I have done a little bit, but then I've also found out, oh well, there were three sections to the High Republic series. There was the first one was here's what's currently going on. Well, phase two, you went back in time. Went back in
Like you
time, like I
do.
think 50 to 100 years before where the story is taking place. So you're not even going in chronological order. But what happened in phase two explains what happened in phase one, and then in phase three you come back and you find and to see what's sort of going on, and so again that's kind of where things kept getting wonkier for me is okay, so I needed to know about the open path so I can find out about the Nile, so that way I can find out about how they're where marking on rogue comes into this, to finding out about how the Nile are able to jump from one place to another, and that all the stuff in phase two is the reason where the great disaster comes in, because it wasn't just an accident, it was planned. And yeah.
I'm getting a headache just thinking about this.
Yeah,
And
and that's again.
I'm a Star Wars fan, and I'm like, ugh.
So this is what I'm saying is they flooded it with everything, which I mean the stuff's there. They did it over I think 4 or 5 years, throughout the different phases, but I just don't know. Just
I'm
don't feel like I
noticing a
had.
trend, Dirk, with your stuff is that there's too much to keep track of. Star Trek series, new Star Trek series, new Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, and it just becomes a hassle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When it gets to be too complicated, which sounds bad. It's not like you're a very intelligent person, but when the upkeep is too high.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
kind of what's happened with that. I agree.
and going back to Dirk's turn of phrase earlier when he said it was too diverse, he meant across a diverse, different kinds of media, not
Yes.
I'm
Not,
mad that
That
there's a
is
black
correct.
person.
oh darn, look at all
Thank you
these
for that.
people.
I thought I had mentioned that it's there's comic books, young adult and adult, and because of that, you like
You did.
it's not
you did
all in
totally
one
say
spot.
too diverse. Yeah. You did
Right.
totally say that, but we knew that's not what you meant.
Yeah.
But since you brought up, since it's Star Wars, you have to clarify these things because that's been a thing with Star Wars for a little while now. Star Wars,
There's
not fans.
There's no black people in the galaxy. Come on. There's Lando.
Everyone gets one.
Everyone gets one.
Mhm.
You know, to do a Brian and piggyback real quick, I really should have loved Solo. Like, what's my name?
Chewie.
Yeah.
And
Who
you
hangs
love
out with
heist.
Han Solo?
And you love heist films.
And I love heist movies. And I love Star Wars movies. But it just wasn't, it was so ham-fisted. Like, I think the heist itself, like, the heist movie part of it was good. I remember really enjoying that.
Danny Glover was great. Not Glover. What's his
Donald
name?
Glover.
Donald Glover. Danny Glover's great too, but
Danny Glover's
you know,
great too. Have you seen Predator 2? He was sweet in that. But
he's getting too old for this.
you know, he was like younger than us when he said that the first time.
Yes. But so anyway, you should have loved it. You didn't. But
Yeah,
I'm
like-
sorry. I've got your back on this. When the first 5 minutes is like, oh, here's an asinine reason that this is his last name. It was a little like.
Yeah, that was too
didn't-
silly.
Yeah, and
It
here's
didn't
how
bring
he
anything.
got his iconic blaster, which I'm not going to lie, I'd never noticed that Han's blaster was iconic. That's just not, I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just had a blaster. I don't know. It never occurred to me that he had a special blaster. He was one of the, everyone had a gun except for the Jedi. So what's special here?
And everyone had a different gun, granted. Yeah.
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 And it just annoyed me that all of the things that we know about Han Solo from, you know, the 3 movies he was in all happened in this like 2-week period that the movie covers. And I'm like, come on, y'all. Like, you didn't have to.
Short attention spans. They might not
Yeah.
get it if we don't make it super obvious.
That's the frustrating part of stuff like that.
Yeah, like, it's cool to work in, you know, some of that. Like, having him meet Chewbacca, that was pretty much going to have to be there. But everything else, I think, probably they just sort of threw, this will be cool. Until, you know, Star Wars fans went, wait. Why did all that happen at once and those all became his, like, defining characteristics? What?
Was that the one where they pushed up the release date for like no reason? Like they pulled it up from December to the middle of the summer?
I think so, yeah.
That was the one where they had made the movie and then the director quit, and then they pulled in Ron Howard to finish it, and when he looked at it, it was a hot mess, so they had to go back and reshoot a bunch of things because he couldn't, like, you can't completely rewrite the movie because they said, well, it still has to be released by this point. You have this date when it has to be done. And so he threw together a movie that made all the hit story beats and everything, but it wasn't the movie he wanted to make. It was the movie he was hired to fix. And that was kind of the thing about Solo, is it was a hot mess, and he did he did his best to fix it.
Yeah, and, you know, I hate to crap on the Rise of Skywalker even more, but it really showed how Disney was starting to slip into we're releasing these for the money, not for any sort of setting up of anything. We don't care about telling the story. We care about making the money.
I will still defend that movie as an individual movie, as an enjoyable, like, but in the plan, it was the evidence that there was no plan. That, and this is me as a fan of this series, I still prefer it to the prequels. I'm not gonna fight anybody, I still do, but at least the prequels had a plan, kind of. But with the Force Awakens, you're like trajectory. With the Last Jedi, they're like subversion and
Yeah.
different trajectory. It really feels like Empire Strikes Back, for better or for worse. And then with Rise of Skywalker, it was no, this is what we meant to do the whole time. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And sorry, again, I like the film. Even I have to be like, somehow Palpatine, came back and boo. Just no, that's your explanation? No, that's not an explanation. That is you changed your mind. So
Well, and the thing with that, the sequel trilogy, he wrote his story. Johnson Abrams, when he got done with his movie, wrote his script and he said, "Okay, here are things that I've set up, and it's up to you and the third director to kind of make your movie based on the things I've set up." And Johnson decided he wanted to go on the side of, uh, was it like it's change or that sort of side of it. And so he never really played into or he alluded to the you're a nobody, just give up on the past, make your own future and all that. And then with what he made, it was supposed to be up to the third director to then, you know, bring everything back together. So there wasn't okay, here's the middle, here's the climax, and here's the resolution of the story. Okay, you do your part, I'll do my part, sort of thing. There was just a rough, here's the story, here's the stuff I've set up. It's up to you guys to kind of do what you want with it. And Johnson really just didn't do much in terms of moving the story ahead. And then how exactly are you supposed to wrap up the last part of the trilogy? And in an interview with Abrams, he's like, well, you got to bring back the biggest baddie that there was, and it's Palpatine. And so that's why he just sort of randomly shows back up.
Somehow, Palpatine has returned.
yeah.
Because again, Johnson killed off Snoke, so he can't be the big baddie. And part of it, again, when Abrams came back in, he's like, well, I want a redemption arc. So
And he couldn't
the only
think
way
of
I
a
can
better
do
way
this
to
is
do it than the horrible way he did it.
Yeah.
Well, and the problem, yeah, and
Yeah.
the
With
issue
what
is Kylo Ren is the only bad guy left.
with
So
what The Last Jedi was setting up, there was the possibility for Rey to also become a villain and then possibly get redeemed in the final movie, but they didn't explore that.
yeah.
No.
Okay, let's stop bashing on
Let
Star Wars. Sorry, I I didn't mean to send us down this path.
But Star Wars fans love bashing on Star Wars, Chewie.
Yeah. What
I
we do,
mean-
man.
let's keep going.
Mike, what else have you got? Take us home.
All right. The other thing that came to mind while we were while we were still in the pre-show discussion, because I just had trouble thinking of a second thing until then, was all right. And again, I won't build up the different pieces. We'll just start at what the subject is. The party game Apples to Apples, and by extension, Cards Against Humanity.
Apples to Apples is Sam's absolute favorite game ever, and she will tell you to play it at some point.
For her, I'll do it.
So,
but only her.
I
I
don't
was
know
going
if
to say,
you
hey, Mike, you
me
want to play apples to apples with me?
I don't know if you want me to tell her that, because then I know what you're doing is you're playing that, and I like it too, but I know it's not for everybody.
Yeah, so it's it's a party game. It's for fun. You get to make wacky jokes and get creative about stringing together A's and B's that might not seem like they go together, but could, especially if you can find a way to make an odd pun or just some kind of weird joke, or if you do get that lucky combination of things that do go really well together, and you hang out with your friends and you laugh and you have fun and everyone has a good time. What got me about it, and again, this might be something where my current maturity, I react to it differently, because people love playing it in college. What got me was those turns where I felt like I had really made a good play, and then the winner of the round was something that, okay, yeah, I get it, but is I don't think it's as good or funny or appropriate or any of those things. So for that, it was that feel bad of someone else, in my mind, made a mistake, and I'm the one losing points for it.
Then you really won't like playing with Sam because she will go for the most random answers, and that's like kind of the point for her.
Yeah,
So
it was those two that really got me, where it's like you might as well have just rolled a die. It's like, why did I put effort into my choice here? I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
the person that you're playing that's picking and everything. You really have to know their personality to be like, okay,
Yeah,
this is the one I'm playing. Mike's going to be he's looking at it logically. So I have to look for something that logically goes together. Okay, so it's me.
you
It's Dirk's one. So Dirk looks at stuff that's funny. Okay, which one would be funny to put together?
yeah.
And
It
so
is
you
it is knowing the audience 100%. It
hmm
is absolutely knowing the personality of the person picking. Because if it's Sam, you want the most absurd. If it's me, I'm kind of a little chaotic, but I definitely appreciate it if it makes sense. And if it's like Carrie, then it needs to be as literal as possible
hmm
or related to Disney. So,
yeah. And Cards Against Humanity, the few games of that I played, it just feels like apples to apples, except there's the hee, I said a bad word, every once in a while.
that was the most amazing voice I've ever heard you make.
Right? Yeah, I don't. I think I played Apples to Apples once, and I know I played Cards Against Humanity, I think twice.
hmm
When I played Cards Against Humanity, it was on a Memorial Day weekend gathering of like my insane extended family back before, I realized that they were all monsters.
hmm
And we like most of them were the ones that were of age were all drunk, and we just all giggled and laughed so hard that my throat hurt the next day.
hmm
And I don't remember the prompt, but I remember the very first hand we played. The winning card was Daniel Radcliffe's Delicious Asshole, and it was played by my mother. And I was like, well, this what? Okay. I don't know how I feel about any of this. But yeah, I think Mike, you're more like goal oriented and there's no goal.
Yeah, and I think at the time I was not grown up enough and understanding enough to realize that apples to apples really is an activity. It's not really a game. It's an activity. It's something to hang out and screw around with for a time.
Yeah.
And eventually according to the rules, it ends because someone's accumulated some points. But otherwise it's just an activity.
That is a huh.
That is an
Huh.
interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that I ended up learning much later from, because I would read Mark Rosewater's articles every week, and sometimes he would go into game design and game design theory, and there was one about the differences between like a game, an activity, a sport. There was a fourth thing. I can't remember what the four things were, but that was really eye-opening. It made me realize how there were so many things that were not actually games. And when I understood them as what they really were, then it was like, oh, and they made more sense and I felt better about them. And I could have proper expectations if I were to ever engage in them again.
Because not everything is a game.
Yeah, not everything that's called a game is actually a game.
Puzzle?
A puzzle might be in. Yeah, because it does have a goal.
I found an article that's called "What is a Game" from 2018, and it's but it doesn't have like a 4 things laid out.
Okay.
At least
I might
not
be pressing
by headers.
I might be pressing a few different things together in my head.
Or
I might also be remembering an episode of the Drive to Work podcast.
That could be it, yeah.
Because I listened to that for a long time.
Yeah,
I haven't read his articles in forever, but I don't know the last time I've even been on the main Magic website that was not for previews or the story. Or the story in preview season.
I think that's one of the things. So a thing that I've been wanting to do, I think I mentioned this at the end of the last episode, or maybe the one before that, I can't remember. I want to get a community, gaming thing going on and play something like Repo or Super Battle Golf. And like I was poking Bill and Clues about it, and neither of them seemed terribly interested. And I wonder if it's because these games, they're sort of games, there's a goal, Super Battle Golf, the goal is to Mario Kart golf better than your opponents, fewer strokes and faster and whatnot, while also, running them over with a golf cart and not getting run over yourself. But really, you're not playing a game like Super Battle Golf with your buddies to win. You're playing Super Battle Golf so you can hit them with a golf cart and hear them swear at you. Like,
yeah.
And I wonder if that is like this whole it's called friend slop, which sounds more pejorative than it is, but this whole genre of multiplayer games that you all get together and do goofy stuff with is known as friend slop. There's Repo and Super Battle Golf, and there's the new one, I can't remember its name, and Lethal Company, and something safe, I can't remember, but it's a whole like subgenre. Among Us is one, an early one, and it's a whole subgenre of I think it would used to be called YouTuber bait, but multiplayer YouTuber bait. And I wonder if the fact that these are activities, not so much games, there's a goal, but that's not why you're playing. Like Prop Hunt, no one plays Prop Hunt for the score. You're playing Prop Hunt so you can mess with your buddies, Yeah. Are there professional Prop Hunt players? God, I hope not, but now I bet there are. But yeah, that's just a really good distinction that had never occurred to me. Thank you, Mike. Or Mark Rosewater.
Yeah, I'm sure that my explanation doesn't fit his original definition. He has other things like more technical things to make the distinction, but that's how it struck me.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Brian, you want to run through the rest of your list real quick?
I can, or we can save them for maybe if we ever want to do a follow-up. But let's see.
Somehow
I had in the realm of like games, card games and otherwise, I have Bridge, the card game. I've tried to learn it. My head just doesn't, work that way, I guess. Tom even had a version called Abridged Bridge, and I'm like, okay, and still just too much for me. I can handle Magic the Gathering, but I can't handle Bridge. And then Operation. And maybe I shouldn't even have it on this list, except that, again, I really like games. I feel like I should like this game, but I am the worst at touching the sides, and I don't even think I'm touching the sides. Apparently, I just suck. So, Operation. I said Firefly, The Sinner, Bridge, and then I don't know why I had American Cheese. I really shouldn't have. That's, to be perfectly honest, I feel like that's getting a little too in the weeds, to be perfectly honest.
You know, I really should love American cheese because I love cheese and I love America.
I mean, yeah.
Oh my God.
But yeah. And then the last real one was some books. I love Stephen King quite a bit. He's great. But his two books of his, It, the one that takes place in Derry that they have remade or retold so many times it's disgusting, and The Wind Through the Keyhole, which is part of his Dark Tower series, which I love the Dark Tower series, but this was a book that was kind of added a little later on, and I feel like it doesn't have the same impact as the original ones. So that's pretty much what I had.
Okay.
I realize I've got a bit abbreviated, but
American cheese. I feel like that's more of a things that I just don't like rather than.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. That is less of a why don't I like that, and more of a I just straight up don't like it, which I realize is not the point of the exercise.
But
So.
I love America. Oh my God. So
My extended list included the Resident Evil remakes. I want to play them so bad, but I've even had them ready to play, and I played 2 and was like, no, I don't want to play this right now. And I have not played them.
2
Final
looked
Fantasy
really
16. It's been on my computer. It was on my computer for like 6 months. And I was like, no, I don't want to play this right now. And I have not played it.
Brian likes
and
that.
then large Lego sets.
What?
Large Lego sets.
So I have the Imperial Star Destroyer, like the big one, and it's about half assembled. And it's been half assembled for 2 years now. And the reason why is because it keeps they're finicky parts that when I try to do stuff, they'll fall apart in another place, and then I have to go fix that. And then I'm like, okay, well, let me get back to this. And then the thing will finicky break apart again. And so there's one part I was trying to put the engines onto the back of it, and I tried to put the engines on it while putting something else on, which was what I was originally trying to put on, and it took me about 40 minutes to finally get that one thing on.
I get the feeling Dirk had to bite back a swear there.
Oh, no. I didn't bite back any swears.
No, I meant when you said it right
He means right now. He means today.
Yeah.
Not when it
took
was
me
right
about
now.
40 minutes
absolutely.
to get that one thing on.
'Cause let me tell you, 15 minutes in, I was not biting back any more swears. And again, it took me an additional 30 more minutes to get that thing on. And I can't tell you how close I was. Just be like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I even broke out the crackle because I was so mad at stuff falling apart on me. That was like, this thing will not fall apart on me anymore. So yes, I unfortunately had to use the crackle on it.
I don't know what that means.
It's a Lego movie reference. Essentially,
I only
I
saw that
used
once.
I used glue.
Ah, okay.
Not like, oh well, it's element. No, I use like Gorilla Glue,
Ah,
which means those pieces are not coming apart at all. Because I was so mad at it falling apart on me constantly.
Oh, gosh.
and here I was afraid it was going to be because you hate knolling or something. Anybody? No? Okay.
What was it?
Knolling? 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 Where you put all the similar pieces together and... No? Okay.
Yeah.
I used to watch a lot of Adam Savage's tested YouTube channel, and
Oh, gotcha.
he's all about knolling when he's putting stuff together like that. That's where I learned the term, and it's a thing. Look it up. You'll find all kinds of like art where people have knolled stuff artistically and taken pictures of it. Like, oh, that's cool. Really, nobody knows knolling? Listeners, do you know what knolling is? For God's sake, help me out here. The cricket sounds are killing me.
Christopher Nolan. I mean, Batman Begins is great.
I don't know.
But
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Dark Knight is still the best of those. What is it with the third movie sucking in so many of these trilogies?
Because I don't know. Endings are hard.
They are.
They really are. To do in a way that makes everyone happy.
Or anyone. What? All right. Well, by the way, I brought up the community gaming thing. If you want to play Repo or Super Battle Golf or some other kind of friend slop game, then by all means, there's a community gaming channel in the Manapool Discord, which you should totally join. The link is down there wherever it is that you're listening to this. All right then. Well, thank you, Mycroft. That was a fun topic, and it's trippy. Yeah. Like the things that we should like that we just don't, and the reasons for it.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's bad writing, sometimes it's just the elements are all there, but the vibe of the finished product isn't right. Sometimes there's just so much of it. Sometimes your mic and hate fun.
Or cheese. Yeah.
Cheese. Sometimes it's the wrong cheese.
It's the wrong cheese.
Where's my Gruyere, damn it?
You're not wrong.
Oh, Lord. Man. Also, you should come hang out on twitch.tv/themanapool if you're... I'm going to try to get this episode posted early because I didn't want to do this, but I can't see another way around it. I've had too many things hit me at once. Last month it was RAM going bad, so I had to buy RAM, which is extremely expensive. I had to buy a new office chair, which is extremely expensive. I had to pay my freaking taxes, which as broke as I am, you think that wouldn't be bad. It was bad. Now it's my the taxes on my stupid car and the new company that runs my apartment complex, the new property management place, has a massive lease re-signing fee for the privilege of continuing to live here. Mm-hmm. And if these things were spread out over the course of the year, I would be able to absorb it. But I'm trying not to completely empty my savings. It is dangerously close to that already. And I literally can't afford to re-sign the lease to continue living here. So, hey, all my streaming this week is gonna be a fundraiser to help a brother out. I feel bad that I haven't done a charity stream yet this year, but you know, if I can't afford to live here, then I can't do a charity stream.
Yeah, it's one of those times where charity begins at home.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'll have the spreadsheet of games. It hasn't been fully updated, but it's still got, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games on it. And I'm gonna Ben, I don't know if you're listening to this, but just for you, I'm gonna play Psychonauts. Ben has been bugging me to play Psychonauts by Double Fine Studios for years, and I'm like,
Oh wow!
I'm gonna play that. Yeah, it looks really good because it's one of those games that, you know, everyone knows and loves, and I have it on Steam, and I've just never gotten around to it. So I haven't told him yet. So him hearing this will be a first. But I'm gonna start with Psychonauts, and then that should take 3 or 4 streams, and then go from there. But yeah, come hang out. Get you some Steam games and help me be able to not go under because of all the things happening within freaking the same 2 months of the year. My lease that I'm gonna sign, assuming I can afford it, is it's so weird. The options were like 10 months, 12 months, and 19 months because it's all automated or something. Everybody gets different ones according to the physical property manager, not the new horrible people. And one of them is 19 months, which means this will be pushed back to a different time of year, so it'll be less awful. So, yay, come help Chewy not die and get some video games while you're at it. Yay. I was trying to come up with a theme, but all the themes I could come up with, I want to save for the actual charity stream. Like, it's like, oh, I can play roguelikes. No, that's probably going to be what the next charity stream is. Oh, I'll play some. No, that's also on the charity stream list. Damn it. So I'm just going to play games, as I always do. But
and I just got
attached. Do what?
I just got a text from Carrie that she's gonna have to head up, but I missed it. When is this taking place?
It's starting next week. It'll be all next week.
Okay, great.
And possibly the week after that. So yeah, I will be streaming every night next week, for sure, and then the week after that almost certainly as well, because help.
Gotcha.
And also, if you want to help in a more ongoing fashion, then you can go to patreon.com/themanapool, where you can get the odds and ends and the sponsorship shout out and all of that good stuff. So let me thank those people now. Al, Kim Ho, Scuzzo, Jake Jansons, Michael, who? Tim Uhellas Haryu, Jason Kaus, Jason Doan, Casey, ALK Alters, Andrew Odie. Yay. Thank you all so much. Now, why? There was a name missing. Huh. Oh. Okay. I see why now. All right. That's cool. Anyway, sorry. So with that, yeah, we'll be done, right? No, final thoughts. We didn't do final thoughts yet. Final thoughts, go. Don't all go at once.
This was a fun topic and everything, and I'm looking forward to the end of the school year. That's about 20 something days before the end of it for myself. And yep.
Nice. Also,
Sweet.
before we lose anybody, let us know if the inverse of this would be a good topic. Things that we really shouldn't like, but we can't help it. That's a thing that
That
came
would
up
be-
right at the end of the discussion in the Discord, and I went, that'll be harder to parse, but
I
let
don't
us
know.
if that's a
Part of
thing
me-
that you would want to hear.
I think that could be excellent, but it's not up to me, so
I mean, it
not
kind of
only
is.
up to me. Yeah.
But okay,
I think
go.
that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Or
Dirk,
don't
were
go.
you
That
gonna-
works too.
I already did mine.
Oh, okay. So my final thought: Sam's last day of school may be tomorrow, assuming that she doesn't have to, take finals. So sorry, Dirk. But I think that's one of the benefits of being on the college schedule is you end early. You also start back early. But
Oh, I know.
I know, but we're pulling for you. In the meantime, yeah, this was a fun conversation. I enjoyed it, and hope everyone out there is doing well. I have been summoned when we are wrapping up to go down and relieve Carrie because she is going on very little sleep. So I'm going to say goodnight to everyone and hope everyone is doing well. And hope you all find some enjoyment doing something you weren't expecting, which is, I guess, again, going to the inverse, but rather you enjoy something than not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good night.
Mike?
Let's see. Neither I nor anyone I know about has to worry about school at the end of the school year right now, so I guess that's a plus.
Wait, you know Dirk and Sam?
Well, they already talked about that. Yeah. For me, it's just it's
This is just falling apart here at the end, everybody.
It is. It's been a busy week. It's like when Chewy was saying that he was looking for a topic and asked the rest of us about it, and then finally some of us answered. I was one of the people who, finally after Chewy had been waiting for a while, answered. Just I've had just had a lot to do during the days, and had personal obligations in the evening. Just feel a little scatterbrained. So it was nice to be able to have at least some time today to sit and think about this. And I think it turned into a really nice and even enlightening conversation. I liked it.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Okay, then. So is that... Oh, that's me. I mean, I guess I did mine already. In other news, though, I'd already talked about all the games I played. Vampire Crawlers is horribly addictive, and I love it. I don't think it's hooked me quite as hard as Vampire Survivors did, but also it's, there hasn't even been the first patch yet, so when more content hits, it'll probably be just as bad as it was for Vampire Survivors. But I recommend it like a lot. The turbo wildcard aspect of it, playing, the way it works is if you play things in ascending mana order, then you increase your combo, and everything after, every subsequent card gets a boost. And there's a lot of crazy gameplay there, especially once you start getting wild cards, which cost no mana, and whatever you play next just continues the combo. So if you go,
Okay.
0, 1, 2, 3, wild card, then you can start with 0 again and keep trucking, or, whatever.
Okay, cool.
And like during a run from the last stream, which was last night before, what even is time? Like I got my combo to, I think it was like 72, because I happened to cross the thing that says your combo doesn't reset when your turn ends, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh wow.
And it was late game, and I had a deck loaded with wild cards and cards to draw cards and add mana and keep the combo going. It would be forever, but they put in a mechanic that prevents that, where if you play a certain card enough times, it will crack. And if you play it another couple of times, I think it'll shatter and summon up a Reaper to murder your face. I beat him once, and the achievement popped, defeat the trickster, and I was like, oh. Huh.
Oh, wow.
I still
That's
have
cool.
not been able to beat the Reaper that comes to kill you after you're done with a run. I'm sure there's some kind of trick there. I just haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, because you're building this deck up from not nothing, but from your gimpy little starter deck, you really feel like you're doing something, because you are, and you're making decisions, and you're like, okay, I've got 35 cards in the deck. I should probably get rid of some of these. Oh, here's a place where you can heal 30 HP by removing a card from your deck. My health is full. I don't care. But remove a card from your deck. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of strategery, and you evolve your weapons by pairing a weapon and its corresponding passive thing, and that removes both of those cards from your deck to put the evolved weapon in your deck. So,
Okay.
like for instance, knives cost 0 and bracers cost 0, but the evolved knife, whatever it's called, I forget, costs, I think it's 3. So that's really going to change the balance of mana costs in your deck. In the early game especially. It's like, okay, do I give up 2 1-cost cards to get a 3? Is that going to screw me? Am I going to be able to keep my combo going? So there's a lot of strategery, and it's just fun. So, yay. I said strategery. So that's my recommendation for tonight. I think I'm going to reinstall Darkest Dungeon, though.
Give it another go.
Yeah, give it a shot. See if it'll play with a controller. I know that it came out on Switch, which means it can be played with a controller. But also, I heard that the control scheme on Switch is some kind of nightmare. So, I don't know. But anyway. But with that, yeah, we'll be done. This has been episode 752. I don't think I said that earlier, of the Mana Pool. Do let us know, like I said, what you have that fits this topic, because I'm always like fascinated to learn about stuff that you should totally like, but you don't, and the why of that is neat. And I think it teaches us something, about ourselves and about the media that we consume. Like, I had the revelation during this show. I think I don't like it because it was depressing. And it was at a time in my life when things were already depressing. Thanks. That sort of thing. So, yeah. But all right. So, with that, we will be done. So, thank you all so very much for joining us. And, this is not my jam.